Okay, let's have a look at percentages. So I'm going to do this video going through the different kinds of question you'll get. There's the classic non-calculator percentage questions we'll do first. Then we'll do some of the compound questions, that'll be calculator. Then we've got a little bit about profit and loss, that'll come into percentages. And again, working out prices and things like that. So yeah, I've kind of got about 4 different types of question. So yeah, let's start off then. If you ever do this, I suggest with all these videos, you read the question, you pause, you have a go, and then if you're struggling, you can see how I've done it, okay? So John thinks he's read more of the book than Mary. Is he correct? Now for percentages, there's a few things to think about just before we start. You've got percentages, you've got decimals, and you've got fractions. And they're all linked. Percentage, I say I've got, let's take 40%. That literally means 40 out of 100. So I could write that as a fraction, 40 out of 100. Which you can then simplify to be 4 over 10. And simplify that further to be 2 over 5. So 40% is the same as 2/5. And as a decimal, well, think about it. If I'm doing 40 divided by 100, 40 out of 100, well, 40 divided by 100, all I do is move the decimal 1, 2 places, so it's 0.4. Okay, so all those things mean the same thing. And that's what this question is trying to get us to do. It's trying to get us to relate a percentage with a kind of fraction. So for Mary, I'd be saying, well, Mary's read 62%, which is 62 out of 100. And for John, I'd say, well, John's read 210 out of 350. Now I can compare them, and what I could literally do is do that sum on my calculator. If I had one, this is non-calculator, I could do that sum and see which one was bigger. But without a calculator, you're thinking, right, okay, I don't really know how to do that. So what we're trying to do is make John's out of 100. We're trying to simplify this fraction to get it to something. So now if you look, you should be thinking 21 and 35 both divide by 7. So if I can divide the top and bottom by 7, I'm going to end up with 30 out of 50. That means he has read 30. If the book was 50 pages long, he'd have read 30 pages. So if the book was 100 pages long, he'd have read 60 pages. Or that's the same as 60%. So this question is very much percentage, decimal fractions. How do they compare? So who's read more? Well, it looks to me as if Marie's read more. So Marie has read more. And you want a statement, you want to finish off your question, and say, as 62% is greater than 60%. That's how I'd be doing that question. Okay, so how do we think about how those things are related to each other? Next question, we've got a loan, and when you go through these questions, highlight the useful information. Okay, so we've got a loan, and we've got an admin fee, and then the total amount will be 9 payments. So what's our monthly payment? Okay, well, our total payment then, and write this in English, have a think, 4,500 plus the 7.5% fee. Yeah, that's the total. That's the total amount. So how do I work out 7.5? Well, I would go over to the side and say that 4,500 is equal to 100%. Everything always starts at 100%. How do we get 10%? We divide by 10. So that's 450. How do I get 1%? I divide again by 10. So I've got 45. With those numbers, you can pretty much do anything you want. And in fact, I'm just going to go back. Well, I would always work out them, okay? The other one you want to work out in this particular case is 5%, and that's why, I'm just going to go back and just so they're next to each other, it's a bit nicer. I'll do 5%, which is just half of 10, isn't it? So 5% is half of 10, so half of 450 is 225. And then I'll go back to my 1%, which is 45. And I want a 0.5% as well for this one, so that's half of 1%, so that's 20, half of 40 is 22.5. And then you're saying, well, how do I make up 7.5%? Well, 7.5% is the same as 5% plus 2.5%. And I'll say, well, that's actually the same as 5% plus 2% plus the 0.5%. And I've got all that information over there. I've got 5%, which is 225. I've got 2%, which is 2 times the 1, so that'll be 90. And I've got 0.5%, which is 22.5. And for this, I would just do a little chimney sum to add them all up. So then I would say that 7.5% is equal to 225 plus 90 plus 22.5. And keep your decimals in the right place. Very easy to make that mistake. And add them all up. So you've got 5, you've got 7, you've got 13, and you've got 3. So that is my fee. Now, see how the working's quite big. It gets very big very quickly in these questions, okay? And it's worth taking your time over as well. So that's kind of my first bit. The second bit I'll be doing is to actually work out the total amount now. So I'll be saying I've got 4,500, and to that I'm going to add on the fee. So that's 337.5. So that's going to be 4. I should really open this side, sorry, just to be, I know it's not going to carry, but there we go, 4837.5. Thought I'm writing the source to the side, apologies for that. Okay, so there we go, that's me got the total amount, and we've got 9 payments. So then I'm going to take that amount, I'll try and write properly this time, sorry, and divide that by 9. So that's going to give me 0, carry the 4. 9 into 48 would be 5, 5 nines are 45, carry the 3. And 9 into 33 would be not 4 but 3, so that's 27, carry the 6, and that would be 6. 9 sixes are 50, so I'm getting tired now. That's what I'm going to say, not 7. What am I thinking? 6, 7, yeah. 9 sevens are 63, carry the 4. Well, that's good. That's when you think, oh, that's nice. I've probably done something right because we've got a nice number, don't we? So it's 9 3 says it's 5 3 7, and money's in 2 decimal places. So I think that video, I don't know if money's the next question, I'll stop there. But that is our first take on percentages, okay? So the first thing to think about is the relationship between percentages, decimals, and fractions. And the next thing to think about is how do you work out the percentage of an amount without a calculator? Well, you divide by 10 to get 10%, divide by 10 to get 1%, and if you need to get 5 or a half, you can divide this by 2 and divide this by 2. Let me just mark that in. Okay, everything else you're dividing by 10. Okay, but keep your working nice and neat. There's nothing hard there, really. But very easy to just, as I did there, very easy to make a silly mistake, especially if you don't do your work. And so just take your time, don't rush it, and go through step by step, and you'll get marks all the way through the more you can show what you're doing. Okay, so yeah, that's video number 1.